Beautiful people, welcome back to another video. For those new here, my name is Pete. Some call me Pilot Pete. I'm a Boeing 767 pilot, and today starts a 4-day trip. But as I'll show you here on my schedule, I'm only gonna be gone one night, a little canoodling, a little swapping, a little trading, a little getting lucky. And here we are, 4 days paid, one night away, can't beat it. So without further ado, let's jump into the trip. Here's an overview of my March schedule. We're looking at these 4-day span of trips. We got a front end deadhead to JFK, operate JFK to Memphis, a front end deadhead to MSP, Minneapolis. Next day, operate MSP to Memphis, and then a final leg, operate Memphis to Newark with a back end deadhead the next day. So as you can see, uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Thank you for all my Spanish when I was in Puerto Rico and Costa Rica. So 1, 2, 3, 4 days for those who only speak English, but a deadhead to JFK, I'm already here. So we crossed that overnight and that day out because I've been here all day getting paid. I'll then fly to Minneapolis tomorrow, or I should say on Tuesday, overnight in Minneapolis on Tuesday. Wednesday, operate to Memphis, and then Wednesday afternoon, operate Memphis to Newark. I'll get back to Newark on Wednesday evening on the 19th, and then the trip actually ends with a back end deadhead, but already be here. So paid for 4 days, only gone one actual night, nothing better. We love to do it. So basically how this worked was I actually had a front end deadhead to Philly. I texted the pilot who had JFK and said, hey, you wanna swap? They live closer to Philly, so it was a no-brainer for them, win-win. This was originally on my schedule. What you see here is jump seat. They actually bought me a ticket on a commercial airline from Memphis to Minneapolis, but I wanted to bank the money, just take the company direct jump seat later in the afternoon. The next day I'll lay over. The next day I'll fly Minneapolis to Memphis, and then I will fly Memphis to Newark. It's a back end deadhead, but again, I'm already here, so we're good to go. We'll land in Newark on Wednesday evening, and I'll still be getting paid all the way till Thursday. So all the time people are asking about quality of life and being away from home as an airline pilot. I definitely talk a lot about it in vlogs, and I made a whole video on it, definitely in different platforms as well. But here's a perfect example of I have a 4-day trip, but I'm only gone one night. So it's just a little way that pilots can kind of manipulate their schedule. It just worked out that the pilots were willing to trade with me because it helped them out, helped me out, kind of a win-win, no-brainer. And then the last trip I had like a one flight to Reno and back. It ended in Memphis. This trip to Newark popped up. So it's a first come, first serve on swaps. I was able to swap into it. And like I said, it's a no-brainer for me to get this. So it doesn't happen all the time, but once in a while, it ends up working out in the pilot's favor. So we love to see it. And I have a special guest tomorrow. He's also a pilot YouTuber, big time, a lot bigger than me. Really, really cool guy. I got a chance to meet him in person in San Diego when we did a pilot conference together. We become good friends. If the schedules stay put as is, then he'll be picking me up in Minneapolis. Maybe you know who he is. Lives in Minneapolis. He's a captain at a major airline, and we'll be hanging out together. I'll definitely get him on the vlog, and that'll be really, really cool to link with him. So stay tuned for that. I'm flying with the captain that I know tomorrow out of JFK, another local guy, so looking forward to that. It's bedtime, we're packed, light packing though, because we're only gone for one night. And as always, if you want to come along for the ride, see some behind the scenes, see what it's like to be an airline pilot, and meet the surprise guest, let's go do it. I will see you guys tomorrow, bright and early, JFK. Beautiful people, good morning from my home away from home, JFK. Although it's been quite a long time since I actually flew out of JFK. Just the trips haven't been here, but just met with the captain, looked over the flight plan. 3 hours en route they have us blocked at because of the headwinds. About to pre-flight the 767. Let's see who we're flying today. We are flying Rajveer. Rajveer is the name of the 76. Those are names of employees at our company. That's how they get named. So every airplane has a name on it. I have flown Peter before you ask. Obviously, Peter, not obviously, but Peter is only one name. It has to be a 767. My sister keeps asking, when are you gonna fly Rachel? My sister's name is Rachel. I believe it's either a 777 or an MD that's named Rachel, but here she is in all her glory. It is freezing in New York. I was about to leave my apartment all warm. Luckily I checked the weather before I left, because I wasn't even planning on bringing gloves and a jacket, or I wasn't gonna bring a jacket because MSP Minneapolis is gonna be freezing. But luckily I checked it. It's 33 degrees, feels like 27. Windy, miserable, and but we'll get it done. Sun's about to come up. Beautiful day to go flying. Let's go do it. Just finished the pre-flight inspection outside. Now we're getting the airplane all set up. The first thing I'm doing, we call building our nest. So just doing a little bit of cleaning, for lack of a better term, getting my headset all set up, my iPad, looking over the flight plan, and then we'll get to work doing the FMS performance. Did the flight deck inspection, so checking the oxygen masks and the oxygen bottles, all the safety equipment that we have to have on board before we go anywhere. All right, so now it's time to get the performance based on our weight and balance. So they give us a weight and balance based on everything that's going to be in the back. So here's our ACARS takeoff conditions. I'm going to select the runway, and our departure is 31 left is what we're predicting out of JFK, and intersection Kilo Echo. So I select Kilo Echo, and then everything else I can change if need be. So if the runway was wet, which it's not, it's a dry day. If we're doing different configuration with flaps, all this wind and altimeter and all that stuff is actually already pre-loaded into the ACAR, so I don't even have to do anything. I just hit send, and we wait for the magic numbers to appear. And just like that, about 30 seconds later, it shows up. Here's the information. I'm gonna go and print it. So I print out the information, and it's all out here, basically telling us our engine out procedure, if we have an engine failure, the type of departure we're doing, all the numbers for different obstacles in the area, the ATIS winds, temperature, altimeter, the runway intersection we're departing, our max takeoff gross weight, stop margin, so if we do have to abort on the runway, how much extra runway we'll have available, our flap setting, our thrust, our CG, our V speeds, and a bunch of other good stuff. And the reason we're departing from Kilo Echo instead of the full length is, as you can see, runway 31 left, 14,500 feet long. No airplane pretty much in the world, no matter how heavy, needs that much room, especially at sea level and a cold day like it is today in JFK. So that's why they tell on the ATIS aircraft to expect Kilo Echo. It just allows planes to get out faster instead of having to cross runways and taxi all the way to the end here. So 31 left at Kilo Echo will be our departure, and then here's the overview of the flight plan, normal route from JFK down to Memphis. We fly just north of Philly, just north of the DC, Washington airspace, and then on our way. I got radar up, so that's the weather that just came across New York that's out over the water, and then turbulence. I rarely check it, but there it is. It's past us. So if you're flying today in the continental US, smooth skies until you're around like the Denver area. That's kind of an over brief of how the pilots are looking at whether or not the flights will be smooth. But like I said, mostly all we care about is the weather as far as thunderstorms, icing, and things like that. So another thing that's super automated on the 7.6 is our clearance. So you just go to ATC button on the FMS, we log in, which we did, and then they just send us a clearance via upload. So here's our clearance: cleared to Memphis Airport, score 5, departure, Ranger transition. Expect radar vectors are our first fix, then it's file, climate, the SID, except maintain 5,000, so we put 5,000 in our MCP. Expect 380 up 10 minutes after departure, that's our cruise altitude. Departure frequency 135.9. So I come down to the standby radio number 3, put in the departure frequency, and then the rest of the clearance on the second page, squawk 1104. That's how ATC identifies each airplane. Come down here to our transponder, 1104, it's on the left side. Captain's gonna take the first leg over to Memphis. There's our squawk. And then it says contact ground control 121.9 for taxi, expect runway 31 left kilo echo intersection. That's how we figure out where we're departing. And then our frequencies are all set up, ready to go. Captain just called for the pre-flight checklist. This is the few items to go through. Parking brake set, fuel quantity, outside how much is on board, 33.1, release with 32.0, oxygen. Both checked our mass to make sure it's all set to go. Altimeters and flight instruments, 30.044, that number down there, that's switching right there. It's our altimeter setting. Our flight instruments are checked. Fuel control switches cut off, so we make sure the fuel control switches are in the cut off position. And the last one is recall. We both verify that all the ICAS messages on board are normal for engines being off. And then we make sure they're checked, and then we're good to go. Next one will be the before start. And the next stop will be Memphis. See you in about 3 hours. All right, we just landed in Memphis, Tennessee. Nice flight from JFK. Took an insane amount of time though to get clearance from ATC to push back. So per our company manuals, where we're located, we need ATC clearance just to push from our gate. Literally 7 minutes just to get a word in. Crazy amount of traffic this morning. And then I got taxi clearance to finally take off 3-1 left. And then very, very bumpy leaving JFK because of all the wind, as expected. And then pretty smooth sailing. Got here 2 hours and 50 minutes later. Just parked the jet. And now we got to head to Minneapolis. I actually ended up, I'm gonna actually take the scheduled deadhead. So normally I cancel the deadhead that the company provides, and I either buy my own ticket or take the company jump seat. They bought me a ticket out of the Memphis terminal to MSP. It gets in earlier than the jump seat. I want to go see that special guest sooner than later. This works out better with my schedule, so I'm gonna head to MSP, get a workout in there because you already know. We'll talk about that later, and then meet up with the special guest that we're meeting up with tonight a little bit earlier, more time to have dinner, relax, and get to bed at a reasonable time. So next stop, Mini, let's go do it. Made it safe and sound to MSP. Haven't been here in a while though. I gotta say, I do appreciate their walkways. Look at that. That's how it should be, folks. Walk, stand. Hence the term walkway. Nothing grinds my gears more than when I'm in JFK, Memphis, anywhere with a moving walkway and people are just standing there. Denver. This is very, very convenient to help temper my nerves. MSP, head to the hotel. I'll have to get a Uber since I actually ended up deviating from this trip. So the company will indirectly pay for it. And then go for a run. Not too cold, 50 degrees it says here in MSP. And then we'll be meeting up with that special guest for dinner. Unfortunately, no king bed here in Minneapolis. We will survive, but I thought it was funny. You guys can see here, I made them switch my room because you watched a previous vlog. There's nothing pilots, you can see they crossed out a number, put a new one on. And nothing that pilots dislike more than being wall to wall with the person they're flying with. I'm telling you, it's just a pet peeve of mine. It's like I'm flying with the guy or girl for, even if it's just one flight, a week, a month, the last thing I want to do is be wall to wall with them. I don't want to hear them sneeze or yell at their husband or wife or whatever. You just want that privacy. It's much better to not know the face of the person next to you in a hotel room. Just trust me on that one. As someone who spends, I don't know, 200 nights a year in a hotel. So anyway, changed into the running uniform because you already know it's non-negotiable. 4 miles on the agenda today. Chicago Marathon sub 3:30 prep officially starts today. Got my running coach. I'm running for the Pat Tillman Foundation. Link is in the description if you want to donate. It would mean a lot. A few of you already have, and I really, really appreciate it. But we're not even close to our fundraiser goal of $2,100. So it really, really mean a lot if you would support that charity and help me get to that goal so we can run Chicago 3:30. And then we'll come back here, quick change, and then special guest. I know I'm teasing him a lot. He'll be picking me up and we're gonna do some dinner. Solid 5 miles in the books. Windy though, got it done. And now we're getting picked up by our special guests, and he's taking me to a Minneapolis staple, he said, so let's go check it out. All right, folks, just finished dinner. You might know him as My Layover Life. You might know him as Captain Paul. I know him as my personal Minneapolis Uber driver. Introduce yourself.
What's up?
There he is, folks. Say hello.
We just had a great dinner at a restaurant here in Edina. Pete, it's an honor to call him a friend, and you know what he's like. He's awesome.
Right back at you. If you've never met Paul or seen any of his stuff, tell them who you are, where they can find you, what you do.
Yeah, head over to My Layover Life on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and it's like behind the scenes, airline stuff, and layovers, and I don't post any workout videos. I'm just kidding. Sometimes I do.
Yeah, sometimes he does. And what kind of airplane you fly, and what position are you in?
Yeah, so I'm a captain on the 757 and 767, based in Newark, but I live here in Minneapolis, which is why we got to hang out tonight.
Yeah, so we actually met about, it's March, like 2 months ago.
Yep.
At a pilot conference, and just like he is on YouTube, very friendly, very nice. We hit it off. He's met my girlfriend Sonia, and as soon as I knew I had a layover here in Minneapolis, I texted him. And I always tell you guys, one of the best parts about having layovers in cities is meeting up with friends and family and people that are like-minded. So Paul fits that bill, and we had a great dinner at Crave, I think it was called.
Crave, yeah.
I always give my reviews. I'll let the guests go first. What would you give it 1 through 10?
Wagyu meatballs were 10 out of 10. I got this chicken stir fry, 8 out of 10.
Okay, fair. I'm picky. I'm a New Yorker, so you know I like good food. I'm kind of a New York snob in that sense. Crave was excellent. Really, really good. I'm gonna go overall 9.2 out of 10.
That was legit.
I think you were like, "Hey, Pete's from New York. I can't give him any of this Minnesota crap. We got to bring him to a high-end place, or whatever." But it was really good. And next time Paul has time in New York, we're gonna take him out in New York and show him a good time.
I'll make a video. He'll be in that video.
Absolutely.
We'll go to New York.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah,
Always a pleasure.
awesome. Yeah.
Good morning from Minneapolis. My first time on the ramp in a long time. I don't know. That's one of the more difficult parts about the job is knowing where to go, because we don't have like gates, right? So every airport's different. Every ramp has different procedures. Minneapolis has some mixed pictures though. Just got dropped off by the ground transportation, but the captain has his own vehicle here, so he must be a local. And I don't know where to go. I'm lost. I've walked around for 5 minutes. Can't find the ramp room or the jump seat room or the pilot's flight plan at, so just hanging out in the cafeteria for now, and hopefully we can connect here in a minute. I finally ate my own pride and figured it out. There's a sign right there, flight crew. You call a phone number and they come and get you. So didn't know that, but now if I ever fly out of Minneapolis again, I don't know if I feel like I've diverted here before, but maybe never flown out of here. I know I definitely have, but it must have been definitely a long time ago. So figured it out. They're on their way to get me, because I guess you need escort to get to the crew lounge. So just get escorted through the sort facility. Here's our flight crew room. That's why I couldn't find it though, because I have been here, but it was when we diverted a long vlog ago and just came right through here, right to the flight crew lounge. So there was no kind of walking through the main entrance, if that makes sense. But I'm like 10 minutes early prior to show. Captain will be here. He said in about 5 minutes. So look over the flight plan. It is cold, it is dark, it is windy. So pre-flight to 767, and next stop will be Memphis, Tennessee. All right, so the flight plan just pulled up. We're about 50 minutes prior to departure. Just looked over that. Basically, one of the first things I do though is I go to the weather info. I go to the ATIS here at Minneapolis. Since we're departing, I'm looking at the departure ATIS, checking the winds, the weather, and even more importantly, what runway they're departing, so I can start planning that out. It looks like we're 30 left, 30 right. Taxi diagram, we're parked right here, so anticipating 30 left for departure. Could change, could be 30 right, but obviously a lot quicker to taxi here than all the way across the airport, past all these airplanes getting pushed. And then I go into the flight plan. This is what we're planned for. Doesn't mean we'll actually get it, but that's what I'm looking at, the RST allo transition. So I go to the SID, I find the Rochester 1 departure. It's what RST stands for. It's right up there in case I forget, RST. And then I'm just kind of looking over this, looking at the runway departures, what it's actually entailed. So for this departure, it's sign headings from 220, clockwise at 360, cross 7 MSP, DME at or above 35, maintain assigned altitude, which we'll get from our clearance. If unable, advise. But we're pretty light today, so that really shouldn't be a problem. Gusty winds, and then this is what we're hoping to avoid. This snowstorm that's coming into Mini. We do not have the de-ice as of now, but if we get any delays or, you know, long taxi times, that's obviously going to affect our flight. But we're hoping bounce out of here, fly to the south of it, probably a little bit of deviations depending on how high this weather is, and like I said, how fast it starts moving to the east, and then smooth sailing once to get to Memphis, Tennessee. The flight time is blocked at 2 hours and 6 minutes en route. So like I said, haven't discussed who's going to be flying yet. As is tradition, it's usually a captain, but alternative Nashville because of gusty winds in Memphis, Tennessee today. Just finished pre-flight in the 767. We're flying Rayan today. We're just finishing up loading. Busy morning in Mini this morning, a lot of planes, but it is freezing. Time to fly to Memphis, let's go. Getting ready to leave here in Minneapolis. We got a 2-hour flight, but I'm here with
Angel.
And what do you do here at the company?
I'm a ramp agent. I essentially make the load plan and get the CG ready for these guys.
Nice. And how long have you been working here for?
7 years.
7 years?
Love it.
Are you a Minneapolis local?
I am.
Okay. How do you deal with the winters here? It's pretty, it can be pretty brutal.
You get used to it.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's
okay.
It's pretty, it's actually just like any other day. It's what we do.
There. And what's your, are you loading and offloading and helping with the stuff on different airplanes, just the 7.6?
Well, here we do the 7.6, the 5.7, the MDs.
Just landed Memphis, Tennessee. Windy, gusty in Mini, gusty in here in Memphis. Captain did a nice job to land in 18 right. Overcast clouds around like 3,000 feet. So air traffic control is trying to give us the visual approach, meaning visual, for those who don't know, just means the pilots determine their speed, their altitude, and kind of turn when they want to turn to land instead of an instrument approach or an ILS approach. You can't accept the visual though unless you're in visual conditions. So they had to send us an extra 1,000 feet and the 2,000 feet, and then we landed runway 18 right, no problem. Like I said, gusty, we're getting rocked on final, but Captain handled it nicely. I just plugged in all the numbers to finish it off, and the last thing we do to close out the flight is punch in the delay codes if there are any. We wait for this message, closed by ACARS. And now we have about 3 hours here in Memphis before we head to Newark. All right, we just got to the gym, a little warm up on the treadmill. Got about 3 hours until showtime, so get a little workout in. Whole Foods, get something healthy. Hopefully, the hot bar in Memphis is hit or miss. And then today we got shoulders and abs, because you already know it's non-negotiable, folks. We're getting it in each and every day. Supposed to run today, but it's too windy. I ran yesterday, so just pushing back the running training one day. I'm off the rest of the week once I get back to Newark. Everything goes according to plan, so I'll get some more running in then. But workout, food, back to ops. Beautiful people from the ramp. Memphis, Tennessee. We just pre-flighted Audrey 767 for non-stop service to Newark. It is windy as heck out here, gusting to 40 knots. It's like 47 miles per hour. So if my hair looks crazy, it's not me, it's the wind. Oh, a little bit of me, because I do have to get a haircut when we get back to New York. But fun little tidbit about this 4-day trip that I'm on. You've been following along from the beginning and you didn't skip through. This is my third actual flying leg, because it was a deadhead JFK, which obviously I didn't fly. Then it was a operate JFK Memphis, the captain flew, which is kind of standard. The captain usually flies the first leg. Then it was a deadhead to Minneapolis, didn't fly obviously as a passenger on a Delta flight. And then it was operate Mini to Memphis, new captain, he took the leg. And now it's a new captain flying here to Newark. He's taking the leg. So I'm gonna work 4 days and not fly the airplane once. But guess what? I still get paid my full rate, so I'm not bothered one bit. Each captain, at least both or all three, actually said, hey, do you want this leg? And the Minneapolis captain's retiring soon. And I told him the story I just told you guys after the fact. And he's like, no, I want you to have the leg. I was like, dude, no, I didn't mean to bring it up because of that. I just thought it was funny how you can work 4 days as a pilot and never actually touch the controls. And then this captain flying to Newark, I just told him the same story on the crew bus. He's like, then you take it. I said, no. I want you to have it because he's actually trying to make a commute home. He can kind of control his own destiny by flying how he wants to fly. So all good here, just under 3 hours to Newark. The back end deadhead, we get home, we're feeling good. We crushed the workout, we got a little run in. Whole Foods Hot Bar, Memphis. You must be watching this vlog because you're stepping up your game. Thank you for that. I'm gonna try to survive the wind, as you can hear and see. Next stop is Newark. Let's go home. Back to NYC, back where it all started, literally started out of that airport, JFK, just finished the flight to this airport, Newark, and then park and brake set, probably about from off the aircraft jet to my apartment, probably like an hour. It was like a 40-minute drive, plus we had to get off the jet, get through ops, through security. I helped the captain make his flight back down to Charlotte. And yeah, it was a good flight. I'll go over it real quick and wrap up the video. So crazy gusty winds out of Memphis. And this is why. This entire weather system that's blowing through the Central America right now, the altimeter, which is your barometric pressure, was 296.6. So I know that won't make much sense to non-aviation people, but basically it measures your barometric pressure, and the lower it is, the lower the pressure. So a huge low front coming through, and that caused the gusty winds, the ATIS at departure time. You guys saw, I zoomed in on it, but here it is. This is current, gusting to 33 knots. So a little less severe than when we departed. It was gusting 44 knots. And there's the altimeter I'm talking about, 296.3. So as the altimeter drops, that means bad weather is on the way normally. So that's exactly kind of what's pushing through. What made it nice though, once we did take off. Oh, and by the way, if you don't like turbulence, not a good day to depart Memphis because we got rocked departing 1-8 left. But the captain did a nice job. And something unique about our departure this time around was, since we did have those gusty winds, there was actually low-level wind shear advisory in effect, so it actually changed our V speeds. V speeds are what the aircraft decision speed, rotate, and climb out speed is basically based on weight. So every time before we take off and land, we get these speeds that help us determine at what point we actually rotate the aircraft up into the air. With the gusting winds, usually what happens first is what's called V1 decision speeds, when the captain takes their hand off the throttle. That's the speed that you're taking off no matter what. You're not going to abort your takeoff after V1. I won't get too in depth about that. My pilots on board the channel know what that is. But anyway, after V1 comes VR. It's usually either the same speed, we'll call it 135 knots, or it's 5 or 10 knots down the road, meaning 140 knots or 145 knots. But with low level wind shear in effect, the procedure for Boeing 767 is actually you don't rotate at VR speed. They want you to actually build up more speed to make sure you have enough airspeed and airflow over the wings to account for those gusty winds, because the wind is coming pretty much as a right quartering headwind, but it was 20 knots gusting to 44. That's a big difference, 20 to 44 knots. So you need that extra airspeed. So long story short, two things were abnormal on today's takeoff. One, we took off max power, flaps 20. And again, that's because of low level wind shear. You don't want to ever experience wind shear on low to the ground. It's basically, think of a giant waterfall of air pushing down, and that can be not only dangerous, but absolutely deadly to aircraft flying. And there's been accidents and incidents that happen in the past that have been fatal. So it's something that we definitely have to pay attention to. But again, we have procedures. Flaps 20 for takeoff gets us going a lot steeper on the climb out. Max power, so you're thrown back in your seat in the 767, and then you delay the rotation speed. So instead of me calling VR rotate, I call VR, but I don't call rotate until we got 150 knots. So an additional like almost 15, I think V1 was, or VR was 134, 135 we'll call it. So an additional 15 knots before we actually rotated the airplane, even though VR was 15 knots back. So I know that might be a little confusing, but basically with the gusty winds, especially that heavy in the split and low level wind shear, that potential waterfall air, it's just air, it's not actually water, but waterfall air pushing down, basically you want to make sure you're climbing like a bat out of heck to get away from the ground. Luckily, we didn't have any wind shear. It was bumpy as heck, and then we continued on our flight to Newark. With those gusty winds, we had a nice tailwind pushing us all the way up. And then since this airspace is so busy with all the arrivals coming into DC, Philly, New York, they vector you all the way north, Pennsylvania, New York area here, and then we flew down the arrival. And then, man, is it busy in this airspace. I live here, I've been here a million times, but it's been a while since I flew into Newark. There are so many planes you got Morristown Airport, Caldwell, Teterboro, Newark, LaGuardia, JFK, and then not to mention all the small or GA aircraft and airports that are in the vicinity. So we got turned right, then left, then slow down, speed up, slow down, this heading, that heading to avoid them. The air traffic controllers in New York, in my opinion, are the best in the world. They're definitely second to none, I can guarantee you that. Vectored for the visual backed up to the ILS to runway 22 left, and man, if you ever get lucky to sit on the left side of the aircraft when you're flying into Newark and you're landing on the 22, so you're landing south, Manhattan is right here, best views in the world. I only wish I could pull my camera out that low to the ground. Unfortunately, we can't, below 10,000, and show you the skyline. I mean, I live here, I see it, but it still takes my breath away every single time I'm flying. Oh, we have a visitor. Stand by on the brief. So since Newark Airport is so busy and they just like to have everyone on a certain speed and headings and altitudes, even though it was a visual, they cleared us for the ILS 22 left, which is pretty normal. They told us to maintain 180 knots till intersection buzzed. We picked up the glide slope and the localizer right around Zafpi at 2,000 feet, captured it, captain's leg, like I said, and he landed 22 left. We taxied off taxiway Echo, and then we crossed at Victor, and we parked in our ramp, and that was the flight. Easy peasy, love landing in Newark. Like I said, the trip actually ends tomorrow with the deadhead, but I deviated. I'm home a day early, paid, captured the bank. It's all gravy. And then it was pretty wild. I literally was gone one night, 4-day trip, and I didn't fly the airplane once. So I was joking with the captain. He's like, you could have took it. And like I explained there on the pre-flight, it's definitely unique. I mean, I could have flown, but like I said, at the last leg, I even joked with him. I was like, no, it'll make better content being able to say I just flew 4-day trip, but didn't actually fly the airplane once. So definitely unique. I'd rather fly, don't get me wrong, but just how it worked out with the deadheads and everything like that. I'll definitely get more landings in next time. Oh, and I forgot, 'cause I know a bunch of people have been asking me the bid. So the way what I got in the bid, right? I told you, I think it was 2 vlogs ago now, I can't remember. We opened up a bid. My company does a little bit differently. Basically, we have a system bid, which is the one that's normal for most airlines, where basically means it's open up based on seniority, you get to go where you're at. This bid for us, I don't know what it's called. It's called like a realignment bid, where you don't really get the aircraft or base of your choosing based on seniority. It stinks. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. It's the rules I have to follow though, obviously. So the reason I didn't talk much about it is I knew I wasn't gonna really get a chance to move. They basically only move pilots if there's vacancies. So if they needed captains in this position, and basically there was very little movement is what I'm getting at. So I put in for the 777 captain, and then 777 FO was my 1-2 bid. Didn't get either of them. Stuck on the 767 FO, but hey, A, I don't mind it. B, everything happens for a reason. The trips, as if you guys have been following along this channel for a while, have been getting pretty sweet, right? Puerto Rico for a couple day layovers, Costa Rica for a couple days, Dubai, Brussels, Paris. So hopefully, fingers crossed, more good things to come. And yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. And before I sign off, if you hadn't guessed who the visitor was, this is who rudely interrupted our flight debrief.
Hi, everybody.
SJ's here. We're not really sure the fit.
It's cute.
Yeah, we can comment. If you like the outfit, you should comment what in the video.
If you like that outfit, comment a pizza emoji. Or write the word pizza if you're on a desktop.
Okay, and if you don't like the outfit?
If you don't like the outfit, either don't comment at all or just do a thumbs down.
Thumbs down from Pilot Pete for sure. No, you always look beautiful, babe.
Thank you.
And we have some big news. We have some big news actually together. Not big news that some people might be thinking. Not that kind of big news. Not that kind of big news. So hold your horses. But fitness related big news. Sonia, would you like to share with the YouTube world our big news?
Sure. So this morning, Peter and I got an email that we were accepted into the New York City Marathon. We're running for Children's Aid. So it's a charity that Peter actually ran for last year. So I'm super excited to be a part of this journey now with him, to run and train with him. So I'm so excited.
So 2025 New York City Marathon. It'll be, at that point, my 3rd marathon.
Yep.
For you, it'll be your first full marathon. Sonia's run a half. And it started with Sonia's, if you guys remember, last year my goal was sub 4. Was able to accomplish that with a lot of hard work and training. Sonia's goal for this one was just to finish, but then we have now upped the ante. Want to tell the people what your new goal is for the 2025?
I don't know if I've committed to this new
goal.
No,
you have.
Yet.
You have.
But the goal is to beat Oprah's New York City. I mean, just Oprah's full marathon time. She ran it in 4 hours and 29 minutes.
Yeah.
So
in 1997.
Let's see if I can beat. That's the year I was born.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can beat Oprah. But if not, it's still a great accomplishment.
Correct. Either way, we're gonna have a good time. So yeah, that's our big news. Sorry to hopefully if your Aunt Tony's watching, not really like no crazy big news. I don't want to scare the family, anything like that. Like that's gonna first news they hear on YouTube. But we're gonna be running the 2025 marathon. We're gonna be training for it, talking a lot about it more and more. But yeah, we're really excited, and I can't wait for her to experience it and crush it. So if you're in New York, or if you're looking for a day to visit New York, it's the best day of the year.
Definitely.
Sonia watched it last year. I participated in it. It is legitimately
electric.
Visit that weekend just to see the sights and everything, and then obviously come and root us on. But as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, DM me on Instagram, pilotpete.fly. Just make sure you follow me first so I can see the message. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe, thumbs up would really mean a lot. Until next time, we'll see ya.